999 years. That is the length of a lease signed in 1886 between the king of a small Indian state and the British Empire. Not for a palace, not for a port, for a valley in the mountains and the right to build a dam in it. Today, that dam is more than 130 years old. It is made of lime and stone. It sits in one state, is operated by another, and it holds back a reservoir above the homes of millions. Kerala says it is a disaster waiting to happen. Tamil Nadu says it is a lifeline it cannot survive without. And here is the uncomfortable part. Both of them are telling the truth. This is politics in everything. Today, the Mullaperiyar Dam. To understand the fight, go back to the 1870s. On the eastern side of the Western Ghats lies the plain of Madurai, fertile land, starved of rain. Just across the mountains on the western side, the Periyar River carried enormous monsoon flows straight into the Arabian Sea. A British Army engineer, John Pennycuick, proposed something audacious: dam the Periyar high in the mountains and send its water backwards through a tunnel cut in the rock to the dry east. Floods washed away years of work. Legend has it that Pennycuick sold his own family property in England to keep construction going. In 1895, it was done, 176 feet of stone, held together by lime and a brick dust mortar called surkey. Water that had flowed west for millennia turned east, and the dry lands of Madurai turned green. But the dam came wrapped in a very strange piece of paper. The valley belonged to the Kingdom of Travancore, in today's Kerala. The British ruled Madras, today's Tamil Nadu. So in 1886, Travancore leased 8,000 acres to the British for 999 years, at a rent of about 40,000 rupees a year. When India became independent, the states changed. The lease did not. In 1970, Kerala and Tamil Nadu renewed the deal, and Tamil Nadu even gained the right to generate electricity, while the rent stayed almost symbolic, which leaves a situation that exists almost nowhere else on Earth. A dam standing entirely inside one Indian state, but owned, operated, and guarded by another. Kerala's land, Tamil Nadu's water, for another 8.5 centuries. And for Tamil Nadu, that water is not a luxury. The diverted Periyar feeds the Vaigai Basin, the farms of 5 districts: Theni, Madurai, Dindigul, Sivaganga, and Ramanathapuram. Some 200,000 hectares of farmland. Rice, banana, grapes, cotton. Millions of farmers whose harvest begins in a reservoir they cannot see, on the other side of the mountains. The water spins turbines too. A power station in the hills runs on it. Take Mullaperiyar away, and one of the driest corners of southern India goes back to being dry. That is why, in Tamil Nadu, every party, whoever is in power, says exactly the same thing. The dam is ours to run, the water is ours by right, and nobody touches either. For almost a century, the arrangement worked quietly. Then, in 1979, the dam made the news. Tremors had shaken the region, and inspections found leaks in the aging masonry. India's Central Water Commission stepped in with an emergency compromise: strengthen the dam, and until then, lower the water. The reservoir dropped from its full level of 152 feet down to 136. Tamil Nadu reinforced the structure with concrete backing and steel cable anchors. And then it asked the obvious question: we fixed it, so can we have our water level back? Kerala's answer, in effect, has been the same for over 40 years: no. Because by then, Kerala had stopped seeing a reservoir. It had started seeing a threat. Here is what the dam looks like from below. A wall of lime and stone, more than 130 years old, built decades before modern engineering codes, standing in a region that does get earthquakes. Downstream lie Idukki and Ernakulam. By Kerala's estimate, as many as 3.5 million people would be in the path of the water if the dam ever failed. In November 2011, the ground itself joined the debate, with a swarm of small tremors. Panic swept the hills, and some families slept in the open. A disaster movie called Dam 999, inspired by exactly this nightmare, was promptly banned in Tamil Nadu. Kerala's engineers add a grim footnote: The backup plan, the giant Idukki reservoir downstream that might catch the flood, is itself just another dam. For Kerala, this is not about irrigation at all. It is about going to sleep every night below a colonial-era wall of water that answers to a different government. Tamil Nadu's reply is blunt. The fear is not supported by the engineering. The dam has been strengthened with concrete backing, cable anchors, and raised parapets. It has been inspected again and again by expert committees appointed by India's highest court. And those committees have kept reaching the same conclusion: the dam is safe. In 2006, the Supreme Court allowed the water back up to 142 feet. For Tamil Nadu, every extra foot is measured in crops. A lower reservoir means a smaller harvest. And beneath the hydrology lies a suspicion that safety is a pretext, and what Kerala actually wants is to replace the one arrangement that gives Tamil Nadu control with one that does not. When your farms depend on water administered inside a neighboring state that calls your dam a time bomb, you hold on to every legal right you have. So the fight moved to where Indian federal fights go: the Supreme Court. In 2006, the court sided with Tamil Nadu, raised the level to 142. Kerala responded within months, amending its own irrigation law to declare Mullaperiyar an endangered dam, capped at 136. A state law aimed squarely at a court ruling. It took 8 more years to settle. In 2014, a constitution bench delivered a double blow to Kerala. The dam, it ruled, is structurally and hydrologically safe. And Kerala's law was unconstitutional. 142 feet stood, and a permanent supervisory committee would watch the dam. Kerala had lost in court, comprehensively. But here's the thing about fear: no judgment can order it to go away. 4 years later, nature handed Kerala its most powerful argument yet. August 2018. The worst floods Kerala had seen in a century. Rivers swallowed towns, and nearly 500 people died across the state. As the Periyar raged, Mullaperiyar stood close to its full permitted level, and its gates opened into a valley that was already drowning. Kerala told the Supreme Court that sudden releases from the dam made the flood worse. Tamil Nadu rejected that completely. The flood, it said, was rain, not gates. The technical truth is still argued over. The political truth is not. After 2018, every monsoon became a public standoff. Rule curves, gate openings, and water levels are now tracked on the evening news like a cricket score. Trust, already thin, broke. And Kerala went back to its oldest demand with new force: stop arguing about feet. Build a new dam. Between the courtrooms and the committees, the dispute lives on the street. On the Tamil Nadu side of the border, farmers' associations march, fast, and block highways whenever the water level drops, or whenever Kerala talks about a new dam. On the Kerala side, villages downstream have staged their own vigils. At one point, protesters stood neck-deep in water, in a Jal Satyagraha, demanding the reservoir be lowered. Politicians on both sides arrive with cameras. Films get banned, effigies get burnt, and every few years a rumor of a crack in the dam empties markets in Idukki within hours. Social media has made it worse. A single video of water seeping through old stone, whether it is real or old, or from somewhere else entirely, can trigger panic downstream and fury upstream at the same time. None of this moves the dam by a single foot, but it moves votes. And that is exactly why no government on either side can afford to blink. Kerala's proposal sounds, on paper, like the compromise that ends everything. Build a modern dam a short distance downstream, on Kerala's own terms. Decommission the museum piece. And Kerala insists, keep giving Tamil Nadu water. New dam for safety. Same water for the farms. Who could possibly object? Tamil Nadu could. First, the Supreme Court has already declared the existing dam safe, and you do not demolish a safe dam. Second, the new site sits in the middle of the Periyar Tiger Reserve, which means years of environmental battles, if clearance ever comes at all. But the real reason is in the fine print. The old dam comes with the old lease. Operation, control, a 1,000-year guarantee. A new dam means a new deal, negotiated from scratch, with a neighbor Tamil Nadu no longer trusts. Water for Tamil Nadu is a promise. The lease is a right. And no farmer trades a right for a promise. Notice what this dispute is not about. It is not left versus right. Inside each state, every party, government, and opposition holds exactly the same line. Chief ministers change, the affidavits do not. Because in Madurai, protecting the lease wins elections, and in Idukki, demanding a new dam wins them, and no politician survives saying otherwise. The central government, which must answer to both states, mostly stays out of the crossfire. The Supreme Court, tired of refereeing, has pushed the problem into institutions, a supervisory committee, and since the Dam Safety Act of 2021, a National Dam Safety Authority with the final word on the dam's health. Committees now decide water levels, monsoon by monsoon, foot by foot. It is processed as a peace treaty. Nobody is happy, everybody complies, and the biggest question, what happens to this dam in the long run, keeps getting postponed. Strip away the affidavits, and Mullaperiyar is a textbook political problem. The benefits sit in one state, and the risks sit in another. Tamil Nadu gets the water, the power, and the harvest. Kerala gets the reservoir over its head, and a rent fixed in the 19th century. Engineers can strengthen masonry. They cannot strengthen trust. That is why a dam that expert committees keep calling safe still produces panic. And it is why a compromise that sounds obvious, a new dam with water guaranteed, has gone nowhere in decades. What you are really looking at is two honest fears pointed at each other: the fear of drowning and the fear of drought. Until someone builds an arrangement both states can live under, and not just a wall both states argue over, the Mullaperiyar will keep doing what it has done for a century, holding back the water, but not the politics. A colonial lease, 2 frightened states, 5 thirsty districts, and 1 very old wall in the mountains. Everything is political, even a dam you may never visit. This is politics in everything. If this story taught you something, subscribe and tell us in the comments which arena we should enter next. Because wherever there is water, land, or power, there is politics. New arena, same game.